Everyone, Pastor Chuck Blair here of New Church Live. Wonderful to have you joining me for 10 minutes of calm this morning. And today, what I want to talk about is just an experience I had last night that I thought, oh, this kind of builds into a beautiful concept and one that has a lot to do with the biblical commentary we've been reading through. And that's the idea of the first chair violinist, concert master, this particular role in an orchestra. So last night it was very privileged. We went to see the Philadelphia Orchestra last night. It was very fun. I love watching different things. I love watching. Just it's wonderful just watching people do their thing. I mean, no matter what it is, it's incredible to watch and fun and just interesting to me. And one of the things a concert does, which I knew about, but I'd never actually seen it in person, is they have somebody who's the first chair violinist, in other words, the best violinist in the group, also called the concert master, and they come out and they rise and they play a note. And that note, everybody tunes themselves to that note, staying in tune. That idea of setting the tone of something. It's setting the tone. It's setting the tone, and everyone else tunes their instruments off of that, and then the concert launches. Now, what's the beauty in that? Well, the beauty in that, I mean, it's I think it's pretty transparently obvious. You could do a lot with that, and it's the idea of setting the tone. What's the note that's going to set the tone for everything? It's going to set the tone for the concert. Now, let's pull that into this biblical commentary we've been looking at out of the Christian New Church lens, a biblical commentary written by Emanuel Swedenborg, where he talks about, sort of how God may see the internal sense, the bigger picture of things, and maybe what God's asking us to consider. And one of the concepts there I find particularly beautiful is that there's always this inner church and this outer church, this inner self and this outer self, be another way to say it. True self, false self, be another way, though that's a little bit more extreme of a term than what he would be using it here in this context. And the idea that in terms of church world, of which I've been immersed in for a large part of my career, is that a lot of the church world is based on this external church. In other words, forms of worship, ritual, all those things, the mechanics of it. And that you have this inner world that's all based on conscience. So if you think conscience on one side, ritual on another. And it's easy to think the church is all about ritual, which we've talked about before. That gets into worship wars. That's dangerous stuff. And really, we have to come back to conscience. Conscience becomes that way to set the tone. That this has to be the first violinist that rises and says, this is how we're going to set the tone. Now, it's not saying that ritual is bad or wrong or anything like that. It's just ritual has to grow out of this. It has to grow out of the conscience and freedom. And how do we do that? And ritual then can become a way to sort of still all the noise in our brains, can still all the worries, can still all the anxiety. That this ritual can actually take us to a place where we can more and more readily hear the voice of conscience. We can more and more readily hear what God is trying to speak to us and what God is trying to do through us. It's a beautiful concept, actually, when you start to look at it. And I was thinking, what would be an example of that? Well, I think a simple one that we always face is there's what's right and there's what's expedient. And expedient would just be what's deeply pragmatic. What's the thing that's just shouting to be done over here? And that idea that I have to get it done and I have to get it done in a hurry so I can take some shortcuts. I can maybe not be fully honest. I can maybe agree with things I don't agree with. I can, fill in the blank. It's just there to just be expedient. And there are times, I would want to, again, I really want to avoid anything that makes it sound like there's stark binaries here. There are times where expediency is the primary concern. In other words, if the office catches fire, you know what? It's expedient to just get out, take the expedient route. And yet, for most of life's decisions, we really want to come from conscience first and expediency second. And how does that show up for you? Like, what does that look like for you? And how could that play out in your life today? And think literally play out. Like all of us have a first chair violinist concert master inside of us. And we all have that note or that tone that God has said, "Yep, this is yours. This is your gift. This is your way of seeing the world. This is what you are to bring to life." And it's never a gift like, "Hey world, look at me." It's always a gift that looks this way, not this way. And it's not looking for acclaim this way. It's looking for service that way. And where is that gift for you? Where is that violinist that wants to rise and just remind you of, oh yeah, this is the note to navigate your day by today. And then from there, you navigate all the music, and the music will ebb and flow and take its different directions and do this and that. But you know that you've started on the right note. I think so much, like, just to wax a little philosophical, I think that's again the advantage of things like 10 minutes of calm, right? If you think of it, folks, that we have ritual and we have conscience, and the idea that you have a ritual that can quiet you enough to get in touch with that voice, to get in touch with that. But it always has to rise from a first chair. It always has to rise from this higher part, that what is this all about? Well, it's all about, frankly, 10 minutes of calm. Yeah, it's about relaxing us, but really it's about, can we have a day where we make better decisions than we made the day before? That's simple. And it may be very marginally better. I mean, I think most days it is fractionally, a fraction of a fraction that maybe we're trying to impact. And because that's the whole point. That's the first chair violinist. That's the part that needs to rise and just go like, oh yeah, today we're just going to hold that this is what's important. We're just going to say, here's the note. Let's tune ourselves to that and then get on with our day. And I hope that makes sense, because it's just interesting in this time. It's a time where a lot of churches struggle because there's so many other things going on. And it would be a shame if we lost that idea that there's a tone, that we want to set the tone for the day, because it just gets lost in the expediency and the frenetic activity before us. Just something to think about, and something to I think remember. And yeah, just think about, what is that for you when the first chair violinist rises? What is the note that you feel called to play? So hope that makes sense, dear friends. And what we are going to do now we're going to do a little meditation, a little prayer, a little blessing, and then we'll say hi to folks on social media. So let's go ahead and do that. This starts, if you haven't joined us before, this starts with a prayer bell. The prayer bell is just there to sort of clear our minds, allow us to relax a little bit, and then we'll launch into it. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's give a little cheery hello to everyone here. And again, I hope you're enjoying a beautiful day ahead for you in all things. All right, let's take a little look here. For you. Oh, sorry about that. All right, Linda writes, good morning, and good morning to you, Linda. Sherry, good morning from beautiful Berea, Kentucky. And Kentucky is a beautiful state. And Sherry wishes everyone a blessed day. Thank you, Sherry. That is beautiful. And same to you as well. And let's hop over onto New Church Live's page here. All right. There we have Chad. My buddy Chad is watching. And Chad, great to have you joining us here as well this morning. Chad from out there in Oklahoma. So great to have you with us, Chad. There we just got a bunch more comments. Sorry about that, folks. All right. Oops, sorry. Anyhow, I'm having a hard time managing comment stuff. I know a lot of people comment later in the day, and sometimes those get cross paths as I'm trying to read them. So, folks, I'm wishing you all the very best today. And as the first chair, what would it be? Just have a day living in that note, or at least tuning your life to that note. Wishing you all the best, my friends. Take care. Bye-bye.